Friday!
Oh, yeah.
And look who's here. The most interesting man in sports media.
No
Am I
question.
really? I
DeQuell
appreciate it.
Jackson.
No question.
Good to see you guys. Man.
Good to
It's
see
great
you.
to have you in
How you
studio.
doing, baby?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Can't wait to get into it.
So you're in this weekend for?
I'm in this weekend for Joe Thomas and some other guys' induction as the Browns legend. So every year I try to get back, bring my son back. He had a great time last year. And, yeah, it's going to be a good time. We get to hang out at the facility, watch practice tomorrow.
Nice.
Get to talk to some other legends. So it should be a good opportunity.
Now,
Good
how old is
chance.
your son?
He's 3.
Is he? So he really doesn't grasp it yet, but
So
he kind of does, I bet.
Last year he was wearing my jersey, and he understood Daddy used to play. So this year he was looking forward to it. When we touched down today, he was like, "Daddy, are we in Cleveland? Are we in Cleveland?"
Nice.
So he gets it. He's getting
Good.
it. He'll be 4 in November. So
Yeah.
he's
an older 3.
Yeah, he's
Well,
an older 3.
I'm curious, when you obviously you played with Joe and, you guys suffered through a lot of losses together.
Yeah.
But when he, remember like towards the end of his career, he could have gotten traded to the Broncos, had a chance to
Right.
play in the playoffs, and
Right.
he turned it down. I'm guessing you weren't surprised by that.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what? You don't know what a guy's thinking
Yeah.
until you have that moment
Yeah.
to decide.
Yeah.
And I thought for a moment, because he's been so great at what he's been doing for so long,
Yeah.
and he never had a chance to say, hey, to play in the playoffs and experience it. Speaking firsthand, it was probably one of the best experiences of my life. So when he
Right.
had that opportunity to move on and go to a different place, and he decided not to, it let me know like he's Cleveland through and through, and I get it. His body probably wasn't ready to move on.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's very rare do you start your career and end your career in one place nowadays with the way
in any sports nowadays.
Well, especially when you're an elite player on
Right.
a bad team.
Right.
Most
Right.
of them want to pull ripcord as
That's
first chance they
right.
get.
Well, here, it's a rarity, but I would tell you, when you have a chance to be in the playoffs, right, that's tough. I mean, you want to at least taste it, right? You have to taste it. If you're about, and nothing against what Joe was doing. He decided later on in his career he's going to do this thing at the end, but I'm just saying, I don't know if I could have done that. I don't know if I could.
Yeah, same. When I got an opportunity, I think I might have talked to you guys before about this, but when I had an opportunity to leave, well, I got released first and foremost.
Yeah.
So I was the prettiest girl at the ball. They released me at February before free agency started. So I wanted to go to a place that had a quarterback.
Right, I remember you
that
saying
didn't
that,
mimic anything that gave me any remnants of not going to the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that was important for me.
Yeah.
Obviously, I felt like I could still play at a high level. Guys are in different situations, and let's face it, Joe made a lot of freaking money. And not to say that it was about the money,
But he could have made that
could have
somewhere
gone,
else, too.
Yeah, he could have
Yeah.
gone anywhere. It was, I commend him for what he did. I thought he stepped away a lot earlier. I thought he had a few more years in the tank, and you never know where a guy is mentally.
DeQuell, I thought with Joe, he could have had a few more years in the tank, but I think for him, it would have been at a diminished level, and he would rather walk away at the height of his game than steal money. I hate to use that term, steal money.
right,
But,
right.
Oh,
I think for Joe, he's a man of integrity, and that was important.
Jay,
to
I'll
him.
tell you this, and you have to think where Madison and Cleveland, they're comparable. I mean, so you can get very comfortable. You've been in Madison for 4 years. You come to Cleveland, it's a very comparable setup. And you ingratiate yourself here in the community. You're like, I'm not leaving.
You know what, guys? We're being real disrespectful right now. We're being disrespectful.
What happened?
First of all, go get the hat game together. Cursive script. Cursive script, just lay that down. Now,
How many hats you got right now? in the
thousands.
His gear is tight. His gear is
I have
tight.
a lot of hats too.
And that's a terrific
The gear is
zip
tight.
up.
Yes.
Yes, we need
my
to talk
mother.
about that
My
later.
mother got this for me. Shout out to Dorothy Bush. She's my stylist. But one thing that I must say is when you get somebody that comes into your home, right, you must reciprocate. I'm a first ballot drinking Hall of Famer.
Oh, wow.
OU Bobcat.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. You was in Madison.
Oh, yeah.
He knows, and Ohio State. You did it up big. You did it up big. So,
Wow, you're going to make us look bad here.
He's got a gift.
so first of all, listen. This is old school. Just know this Givenchy. This boy is old. Look how beat it up it is. So I've been doing this for about 10, 15 years. This designer thing. Stop playing me. Listen, I was spending all my money on this. No rent. No nothing.
No question.
So We got to do. Oh. We got to get that slow pan. Oh, you see, he got the. I believe the one he gave us was 12. I think it was 14 years
Caribbean cash.
Yeah. See, this
you went that for me?
That's for you, man. That's 15. There we go.
Thank you. Well done, man.
This is beautiful.
15 years.
Yeah.
That's a solid move, G.
Hey,
I will break this in tonight.
Always reciprocated drink. It's a drink for. Don't be at the bar. Your man get you a drink. You get him a drink.
That's a slide move, bro.
That's nice.
That is so beautiful.
So where are my other guests?
Yeah, no. We made it so bad, man.
Don't worry, bro.
He's like, that was a joke.
If you're not familiar with what we're talking about, the first time DeQuell was in studio, he brought bottles for everyone.
No.
Except for McNuggets.
Not everyone.
And what happened was, Brad wasn't here that day, and that's the bottle that we opened and poured from, and McNuggets stole it.
Let's clear the record. Brad, who has that bottle right now?
I do now.
Yeah, you gave it back to him -5 shots.
So we took those shots. So don't put
Filled
that
it up
on
with
me.
water.
Hey, you didn't do a few extra at home?
I swear to God, I didn't touch it. No.
Okay.
That's
I
great.
have to say I haven't had the 15.
Okay.
There you go.
So
Good
this
choice.
will be a new
There we
beginning.
go.
for me.
Yeah.
Nice.
The collection.
And hopefully
Well done.
we break this in towards the end of the show, maybe.
I think so.
You twist my arm.
do it.
Twist my
Let's
arm.
do it.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, I'm down.
Well, I hope that bottle's not a letdown, just like this game could be on
Yeah.
Saturday.
It could be.
Wait a second. Before we move on, I think you need to tell DeQuell what you said before the show.
Yeah, he was.
He was talking.
Say it.
McNuggets.
You said you could say it now because you're friends.
Yeah, that's what he
Oh,
said.
that I played basketball on.
No.
No. Yeah,
Yeah.
DeQuell, this is we're cool now. You get this, but we're talking about letdown games. And I said I'm not sure if DeQuell had a ton of letdown games in his career because they didn't win a ton of games when he was here.
Oh, man, you are so lucky I'm tied up.
All right, so he's going to go first on that.
I said, but then he went to the Colts, and then he did play for
Yeah, a lot
games
of
that mattered.
That's true.
That's true. Fantasy Friday.
Yeah, right.
Your boy's going to be along with us
Yeah.
here in about 10 minutes. Tyvis is going to join us later in the show for some Buckeye talk and some Brown talk. And we're doing pre-written headlines. We had a blast with that last week.
Yeah.
I understand DeQuell also participates.
And Tyvis,
That's going to be
too.
good. Tyvis wrote one. And one other thing, McNuggets is so excited. He loves games, and we do too. True or false, big hit. We love playing games. He says that he's got the best game the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show has ever rolled
Excited
out.
about
You've been hyping it up.
So I mean,
It's good. I promise you guys.
well,
it's
it
good.
better live up because if it doesn't, we're storming the booth.
Are we also
Storming the booth.
Are we also going to talk about the fact that I'm the only one that had the Chargers covering last night?
Let's talk about it real quick. Bull was the only one that had Chargers covering last night. Let's move on.
Okay.
That's it.
But did you have? Yeah, you did. You had the under on the throwing yards for Herbert, who, by the way, was a warrior last night.
Yeah.
They did X-rays.
Is he had a broken rib?
It's going to come out today. He's got a couple broken ribs. I think.
Wow.
I mean, that's what a guy looks like.
Chargers
with
should have
broken
won
ribs.
that game.
They should have won that game. That pick six was a 14-point play.
Yep.
All right. So that off of your comments, we're going to let DeQuell start. There is some concern, at least in Browns fandom, that this is a perfect trap game. They're coming off a big emotional road win to open the season. The Jets laid an egg. Everything is setting up for a Browns victory, and oftentimes, as you know, that sometimes can surprise everybody. Is this the perfect situation for a trap game in your mind?
I don't know if they're in a position to think about a trap game now. They haven't proved themselves to play the way we think they should be playing. And you look at Jacoby Brissett, how he had a lot of missed opportunities last week. No, these guys need to understand what the situation is. We're not good enough right now. Listen, you love to win football games in this league. It's very hard to win them. And when you win them, when you miss so many opportunities early, late, defensively, defensive breakdowns late. There was a lot of teaching tape going on this week about what they need to work on, the cover three schemes, just letting guys run free. So I don't think they had time because there was a lot of teaching moments of what happened last week. Listen, you had a 20-7 lead going in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And you almost blew the game.
Yep.
If it wasn't for a late flag on Jacoby Brissett, and he comes out of nowhere and makes a throw on third down. So, no, I don't think this is a trap game. I think these guys have to be mentally locked in right now because let's face it, the Jets, they have a pretty good defense. And to hold Lamar Jackson to less than 20 yards rushing, the number one rushing attack last year.
They held their unit under 70, I believe.
So this is a game, obviously no one expects the Browns to lose, but the Jets are more than capable. They have some guys on the outside, some young, they have Corey Davis, former first-round draft pick. Yeah. They have the Garrett Wilson, I believe.
Buckeye?
Yeah. So he's elusive.
Elijah Moore.
Yeah, Elijah Moore. They have some guys
there.
And the guy that I'm worried about is Michael Carter, the running back.
Right.
Joe Flacco. Listen, Joe Flacco is not. He's not a guy that's going to bring you from behind and wow you throwing the football.
Been in the game.
So he's going to take that check down. He's going to give you what he wants, what the defense is giving him. So from the Brown standpoint, no, this better not be a trap game.
Does anybody think it is a trap game?
I don't believe so.
I don't think. I agree with DeQuell.
Okay.
See, you can only be in a trap game when you have established yourself as an entity in this league that is, I'm guaranteed, I'm thought of to be in a winning position. I don't think the Browns are there yet at all.
They're not.
Right?
No.
So there's no way they can be in a trap game. They got to come out and play hard every game. To DeQuell's point, they almost blew this thing last week very easily.
Yeah.
We were all sitting wherever you were thinking that this thing was about to go south because we have seen it before.
It did go south.
Right.
Yeah.
And they rescued it.
Right.
Yeah.
So at every game that we come out, until we establish ourselves as one of those teams, we're not like Kansas City where we roll in and they thinking that Kansas City got a chance here.
Yeah.
Every week we got a chance to go down. So you got to play like you have a chance to go down.
Right.
That should change your mentality for every game.
The Browns have one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the league right now. That's fact. So they can't take anybody lightly. We know they have a good team around that quarterback, but they're in no position to take anybody lightly. But here's the thing. Joe Flacco has started 17 games since 2018, all right? I've seen these stats. We've posted them a few times. Joe Flacco has killed the Browns. We know it. That's meaningless. He killed the Browns when he was a pretty good player back in the day.
With an all-world
with
defense.
With an excellent team around him.
Yeah.
Great running game, great defense. Since 2018, he's made 17 NFL starts. He's won 2 games. 2 of his last 17 starts. There is no, yes, it's the NFL. The Jets are not, I do think the Jets have some nice skill position players, and they did shut down the Ravens' run last week, all correct. But this game's at home. The crowd is going to be spitting fire. There's no excuse for the Browns to lose this game.
G. Bush, do you have any concerns? Because that was the question. Not is it a trap game?
Yeah.
Do you have any concerns that this could be a trap game?
Man, I'll stay with concerns about trap games. I live
too.
like these dudes out here. Like I don't like when people chalk up wins or then diminish the win after you play a team and you thought you was gonna win. But think about it. Just last week you should have lost. So that nobody is doing victory laps. And I take everybody back to 2020. The Browns had an opportunity to clinch, get into the playoffs, and not even have to worry about the Steelers game. They come out, they go to New York, and they get outplayed in every facet. Couldn't complete a pass.
Well, there was extenuating circumstances in that game.
I get it, but the league is called extenuating circumstances.
But their whole, if you remember, their entire wide receiving core was wiped out due to COVID.
So here's the thing. This is the thing about the NFL. Yeah. You can come out there, you can lose 3 of your best players the first snap.
Yeah, you could.
And that's just what it was going to be. So if the Browns come out here and they play around with them, they can and will get beat.
I'm sure.
I'm with
absolutely.
you, G. Bush. I'm not going to say it is. I don't feel that they're going to fall into the trap, but I think the trap is set. And here's what that means. You're coming off a big emotional win where all of your focus for the entire offseason was on Carolina. Everything they did. We can't lose this game.
That's true.
It was their week 1 Super Bowl.
I get it.
So a trap game is you're so invested in the prior game that you're not able to quickly reload, refocus, and get ready for the next team. And you said something that I'll jump on. Later in the show, we're all going to give our picks. We're all picking the Browns to cover. The spread's 6.5. Yeah. We are all in agreement. Win, 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 win. All the experts on Sunday before the game, win, Browns, 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 Browns. Across the board. That always scares me. It always scares me.
You guys are living in your fears. You're living in your fears.
Listen,
That's a good point.
To that point, I don't think the trap is going to be sprung.
Yeah.
But I think the trap is set. So for that reason, I would say, yeah, I do have some concerns. But DeQuell, your point was the one that I'll really focus in on. And you made this too. They haven't done anything.
No.
They shouldn't be taking victory laps. They should not be listening to the experts saying, you're going to win, you're going to win. Because internally they know that they had 2 huge breakdowns.
Yes.
And we talked about this on Monday. The Browns also watched the Panthers defense have breakdowns,
Right.
and we didn't take advantage of them. Joe Flacco is a lot of things.
Right.
Joe Flacco will take advantage of completely busted coverage, just like Baker Mayfield did. Most of your NFL quarterbacks, when the coverage is blown that badly, they're going to strike. So this defense is capable of doing that. We know last year the first 8 games was what we saw in Carolina. The pieces are there, but there's these weird wires that don't get connected, and you're scratching your head going, how in the world did this defense just do that? So they're capable of doing that again. I don't think they will, but it's there.
But in terms of press clippings, though, nobody's picking. Everybody's picking the Browns to win this week, fine. But it's not like anybody picked. Most people across the board are not picking the Browns to make the playoffs. It's not like the Browns are getting overhyped based on pulling out a win against Carolina. So
No. No, I'm just speaking
to
in the
back up
micro.
your trap point. They are playing the Steelers on a short week next week.
That one really scares me. Yeah, that one really scares me.
Thursday night game, obviously.
Yeah, but it's home, thankfully.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we don't know what TJ Watt's going to look like. TJ's out, right?
out. He's on
out.
He will not play Sunday.
So we don't know what he's going to look like when he comes back. Have you ever had that pec injury?
Yeah, I've had 2.
Okay, so then you can speak to that.
So,
The guys that I've talked to that have had it said when you're playing with it instead of getting it fixed, you know it's there, you're not the same guy, and it's not far from being torn completely.
it is the worst possible situation to be in from a defensive player standpoint because you have to wrap a guy, you have to shed a guy, you have to rip a guy, and basically, I tried it. My first pectoral tear, I tore it off the bone, so I knew right away. And, big knot happens right here underneath
where the muscle bunches
your armpit. So the second time around, similar situation. It's not torn off the bone. We can rest it for 6 to 8 weeks, revisit it, see how it feels. I did it. I rested it for 6 weeks, came back. The first open field tag off, ripped it off the bone.
And that's exactly what TJ Watt is in right now. They're saying he needs to rest, but that doesn't heal
He's
in
in
6
that
or 8
funky
weeks.
situation. If I were him, I know it's early in the season.
Get it done.
Go get a definitive fix right now so you can come back next year, not miss OTAs, not miss
When you had the
workouts.
surgery, how long did it take you to recover?
It was probably 6 to 8 months.
See, so the problem with that, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I know that he's too much of a competitor to do that.
Right.
But let's say he comes back and it's late October and he tears it off the bone. Now it's early November by the time you get it fixed.
Right.
If it is 6 to 8 months, then you're talking about next July before he's even testing it again.
Right. I've never seen a guy be able to come back and finish a season with that situation, with that sort of injury. Now, I'm not a doctor or anything, but just having
Especially for a guy like Watt who uses his arms so
that's
much.
his bread and butter.
That's
His hands play.
Crushing injury for the Steelers.
It is. It's
They-
a huge
I don't think
injury.
they were that good to begin
It could
with.
change the trajectory of their
Yes,
season.
no
because
doubt.
He's their MVP.
No doubt.